can be like Mother Teresa style, Saint Teresa style. It can be working for something like Habitat for Humanity, really big now, but it doesn't have to be. And I said that at the beginning, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can be something like your spouse washing your car for you. It can be something like making sure your vegetarian guest at the dinner has enough options to eat. Those kind of things can be in service. These are two personal examples from me. Obviously, I'm looking at the people. Every little thing that we do with that sense of love and action, sometimes it's just to remember, yes, my vegetarian guest is coming. I want to make sure she doesn't just have a plate of pasta. Because that's what happens at restaurants. My Becky goes and gets my car washed for me a couple of times a month. Usually sneaking out of the house in the morning before I even know I come home with a clean car. That's a beautiful, loving act of service. It can be the little things. It doesn't have to always be something big and overwhelming and costly. Love and action. Everybody can do something small with great love. And that's also what Saint Teresa spoke of. So let me ask you for just a minute. If you were to think of a few things, whether they are small, there's really no such thing as big and large, but we just call it that. Something that might be a small gesture versus a really big gesture. I would like to hear from you. Call a few things out. What are some things that you can do in loving service that make a difference?
Smile and say hi.
Smile and say hi.
My neighbor and I take out the trash cans, I put the trash cans back for each other.
For your neighbors, put in the trash. Yeah, beautiful. Did you all hear? What else?
Putting your shopping cart back in the place where shopping carts
Ah, putting your shopping cart back in the place. That makes a better world that works for everyone. Sure, what else?
Letting someone go ahead of you when you're in lines in
Yes.
traffic. And even when you get in the lane in front of them, I always do the wave. to say
Thank you. Yeah.
And people really like it. It's just much nicer.
Yeah. Did you all hear that? That's a really big one. And when you think about all these things so far, I'm going to keep going. So keep thinking, a world that works for everyone. All these things apply. It may seem like one person that you smiled and said hi to, but we don't know how that person now goes and shares that same hi and waves. The person that you let in the lane in front of you, we don't know how then they might reciprocate and do the same. All right? How the person that you didn't let the shopping cart in their car appreciated what you did. What else?
Saying thank you.
Saying thank you. That's such a simple one, saying thank you. Whether it be a thank you for letting me in or a thank you out loud. Big difference in being in service. What else?
Buying someone's coffee at Starbucks when they don't know it.
Buying someone's coffee at Starbucks when you don't know it. Have you done that?
Uh-huh.
Big grin on your face.
Michael.
You and Michael do it. Very nice. Margie, what did you say?
Holding the door open for someone and that someone doesn't have to be of a certain age.
Yeah, holding the door, regardless if they're young.
Or gender.
Or gender. That's right. I hold the door open for men. Very nice. What else?
Telling the grocery clerk to have a nice day.
Yeah? Yeah. Because they hear a lot of grumbling, don't they?
And they say it to us all the time.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. What else?
The person who's standing in front of me at the counter at the grocery store, and they don't have sufficient money to pay for what they're trying to buy, and I pay for that.
Nice. Rather than going, hurry up, yeah, good. What else?
Taking newspapers to the Y.
Taking newspapers to the Y. Okay, that's what I haven't heard of. Anything else? We get the idea. This church does a few things in this community that you might not be aware of, that are things that are in service, making a difference, or making a world that works for everyone. So a number of those things are the Interfaith Food Center, the Interfaith Food Bank, I think it's now called. Interfaith Food Center it's now called. They feed thousands of people. This church has donated food, this church has donated money. This church has donated Christmas gifts for children or for adults who might be struggling. We have done a lot with the Interfaith Food Center. We've also done interaction with the Women and Children's Crisis Center, women who are in domestic violence situations. We do the walk in April that many of us contribute to. Some of us have walked, some of us have donated money. I know the woman who helps run it, Diane Britt, enough that when I see her out in the community or in the bank, how's Harmony Center? We know, we talk to each other. We've done work with First Day, which is the Recovery from Homelessness Center. There's probably a couple other things. Those are the three big ones that we've donated money or teaching classes, time.
Donate our space.
That's very good. Yes, we donate our space. So we do facility rentals, but there are times where we also donate our space. Maybe somebody gives a love offer, but we're not charging an hourly rate. Absolutely. So there's many ways that are more the big things that this church does. So we are in service. And I believe that everything we're doing here is also being in service. This, what our practitioners do, our classes, our workshops, all of it, it's about being in service. Even if you're paid, you're in service. I'm thinking of our musicians. Yeah, we pay them to do this job for us, but they know they're doing this with a heart of service, not just how much money can they come bringing their love in service. So many diverse ways to be in service. And one of them that we do here is prayer. Prayer is one of the best acts of service that we can do. And before I go into my final prayer, I want to read you something from one of my colleagues. His name is Reverend David Bruner. And he's the minister up in San Jose. And he wrote in last month's magazine, A World That Works. And it's prayerful, but keep your eyes open. Just hear it as a reading. He says, right now, I slow down. I slow way, way down. I slow down to the speed of stopping. To be certain that I'm speaking my word intentionally. To be certain that I'm not just using words and mentally chatting. To make certain that I am praying on purpose. It is important for me to remember that there is only one life. There are not two lives, a constructive life and a destructive life. Only one life. Therefore, the one life and my life are the same life. Life's voice and my voice are the same voice. Life's word and my word are the same word. Right now, I speak my word, inviting into expression a world that works for everyone. Such a world already exists in spirit. We got to remember that. Such a world already exists. I remove anything in me that would reject or deny that world. I behave in such a way that I am in alignment with that world. I do not try to make that world happen. Rather, through this prayerful moment, I make that world welcome. It's up to me. I take a stand for this. It is now a measurable experience because of the power of my thoughts and words. And now my soul is grinning. I conjure within me the feeling of gratitude, of being grateful, of the thrill of answered prayer. A world that works for everyone is here now because I said so. This is something I like to say a whole lot. So remember, big and small, it doesn't matter. Give and receive that service equally. Allow others to be in service to you. Change the consciousness from which we give the service and which we receive service. Remember St. Teresa's words, love in action is service. Let's take all that goodness and close our eyes. Turning in together and individually to that one source of all life. Whether we call it God, whether we call it life, whether we call it the one source. That one presence is everywhere. There's no place where it stops